Hi everyone, welcome to today's CI Tools webinar. My name's Josh Osborne and I'm the Product Manager for the CI Tools here at Central Innovation. And this is a weekly webinar where we go over new features in the CI Tools or old features that you might not know about in the CI Tools. Sometimes we go over showing you about a tool from scratch or advanced topics in a tool, and sometimes I'll be going over specific questions that we have had via our support desk or that you've asked during other versions of this webinar. So welcome. Today is the third in a series that I've been going through of the Doors+Windows tool. We're going to be looking at, I guess you'd probably call them some advanced topics in the Doors+Windows tools. So we're going to look at making some styles of our own. We talked about styles last week, and this week we'll go through and make some of our own. We'll also look at doing some things like using custom door frames. We'll apply some labels to our windows and doors, and things like that. So if you have any questions about windows and doors that you might want to see answered today, please let me know by just entering those in the chat. I'll be checking in on the chat every once in a while. And if you think of anything after the fact, you can always send it through as a support ticket. Also, if you have any other questions about the CI tools that aren't related to Doors+Windows necessarily, feel free to send those through as well, and I'll either cover those at the end or I'll make a note of them for a future webinar. All right, so before we begin, I'm just going to very quickly check on the chat to see if we've got any issues happening. Okay. Looks like we are good for now. So you should be able to see my ArchiCAD screen here, hopefully. And what we're going to be looking at, as I said, is the Windows and Doors tools. All of the stuff that I'm going to be showing today is available in 27. Obviously, that's what I'll be working in, but it's also available in most older versions of the Doors+Windows tool as well. So if you're using 26 or 25 or something like that, these will still apply in those versions, because we're just sort of looking at, they're not necessarily new features or anything like that, they're just more unusual things that the majority of customers don't necessarily do or maybe just don't know about. And so we're going to start off with styles for that. Hopefully you maybe saw last week's stream where we talked about styles. I'll give you a brief introduction of those before we start drawing some up. So I'm going to start with my window tool. And we'll just have a look at the styles that are there first so that you can see what they're for. And then we'll create some of our own. So you can see we've got just the default settings for a window here. So it's 1200 by 1500, single panel. If I go through to the glazing panel layout here, you can see what we've got here, just a single fixed pane, and it is set to fit into the available width. Now what we can do with styles, and this is the reason why you might want to use styles, is that we can go and select a preset style, which will give us a different style for the window that we have. So I can go through here, select the type that I want. So I could say, let's go for this premium awning one. Select that and it will go through and apply the settings of that style. You can see it hasn't changed the overall setout of my window. All we've done is we've applied the setout that is used by the style that was preset here. So we've now got this double awning over two fixed, etc., being used, and that is applied there. If I go through and have a look at my layout, you'll see those two set there. And we can go through and then choose any other ones and apply those as we might need to as well. So we could go and say, let's go with this one, which is 3, and you'll see a similar thing like that happen. So that will allow us to apply a style. We can also apply some snap sizing to that style as well, which is available in this drop down just below the style drop down. So I've got it set to custom size at the moment because it was just set to 12 by 15. But we can come in here and we can choose one of these preset sizings as well. So we could come through and you could say, let's choose the 10 and we'll make it a 10 by 23. Select that and it will automatically resize it to match that size. So you can see the preset sizing has loaded into here. and now we see that there. And we can see that, as you may remember, when we chose the styles before, it grays out all of the settings because we're effectively locking ourselves into using that style. Once you choose a snap size, you will see the height and various other values also lock in when we do that. So that also, we are locked to those settings now. One of the main reasons you might want to use snap sizing, and the reason it's called snap sizing, is that it will snap to the sizes that are available. So you can see we've got 10 by 23 selected at the moment, but there's a couple of other options available. And what this means is just that if we resize the window down, it will only go to one of these snap sizes rather than letting us freeform the size. It will snap to whichever one is the nearest of these when we resize it. So for instance, if I come through and place this window down, and then if I resize it like this, you'll see it doesn't do the thing that I told it to because there's no snap size near to how narrow I took it to. But if we look in the settings now, you'll see that the snap sizing has gone down to the 8.5 bracket. And if I go back up again to very wide, again, it doesn't go to the full width that I gave it because there isn't one available, but it will have jumped up to the 11 snap sizing, and the same will happen vertically as well. So if I made it taller or shorter, it would snap to looks like a maximum of, well, if I'm in 11s, the maximum is 23, and it can go down as low as 22. Some of the other ones there's a bit more room to move around, but it is just going to lock you to those values. So the idea here is that you create a style that matches the specific model of window or door you are trying to reproduce, and then you don't need to worry about from then on that if you make a change to the size of your windows and doors, that you'll be creating something that there isn't a product for in the catalog of the manufacturer that you're using. So that's why snap sizes are useful. You'll probably also notice while we're in here looking at styles that we've got this code setting here, and at the moment it says this thing, and the reason it is preset to say this thing is that it is built into the style that we had, and so you can see the format for it below. It says the format is C, then W, then a little x, then H, and then M. So the values for these can be seen below. So the configuration is JPA. That's just the generally the manufacturer plus some sort of denoter of what model line it is or something. A is probably for awning in this case. Premium awning, in fact, is what it was. We've got the height and the width is the H and the W, and then the M is the mirror status. And so in the context of this line of windows and doors, they use the O and X method to show you the difference between the awning and the fixed one. So we've got OXO at the moment, and if we were to mirror it, it would stay the same. And you can see also in the name that we've got XXX, which is the bottom line there. So this is presetting the style code here. So you can see at the moment it's showing 11 by 23C, which is the snap size that we have set. But if we resize this down to be much smaller, not only will the snap size update to what this is, but you'll see that the code also updates to display that as well. And so what we can do while we're here is we can also go through and make sure that the, where's my plan view items, that the label also shows that. Oh, I need to turn the label on in the model view options, I think. So we've got that placed there. Oh, whoops, I already have a marker on there, don't I? Excuse me while I fumble about. Okay, so we're going to choose this marker here, and the type code is what that style is referred to here. So at the moment we've got the content set to show the type code, then a slash, then the user ID, so that's the ID of the window. So if I hit OK now, let's dimension chain in the middle of there. there we go. We can see it is listing that code here. I haven't set the marker to be a sensible size, so that looks a little bit strange. Let's just turn off that. So you can see the code there is listed as it was shown, and then we've got our slash and then the ID of the window as well, so W018. And so if we were to go through, oh sorry, I need to go out here. If we were to go through and resize it here, you'll see that the label automatically updates to show that new snapped code. So you can use this for while you're working on your windows, making changes to them. The label here will always show you what you have moved to at any stage. And if you change style, that will also change as well. So if I come in here and choose a completely different style, my label will also change to match it. So if I go with a different manufacturer, let's choose this one here. So this one is laid out in this way. So we've got DC, then dash, then the height and width mashed together like that, and then the mirror status, which is denoted as LXR. You can see that there, and we've got the snap size 21 by 27 selected. So we'll see our label update to show that, and if I resize that to be smaller, you'll see 2118 takes over there, and if I go all the way out, 2127, that's the only size available that I have, and 21 obviously is those ones there. But that you can probably see there how you can set up your styles to conform to the labeling that you want them to have, and with those snap sizings you can just make sure that they're always within the range that you want them to be. So the next thing you probably want to do once you mess around with styles is you probably want to create some of your own. As you may have seen, as I've been working through here, we have a bunch of preset styles in there if you're in Australia. However, we don't have many others created, so you might want to create your own, and that's relatively easy to do as well. So what I'm going to do with this window is I'm just going to reset to the default settings. So we'll start from scratch, and we'll set up a new window style. So I'm going to cut this one in half. I will make this one on the right here a louver, and I'll set it to have a fixed width and be 250 wide. Okay, so we've got a louver running down the side here, which is 250, and a fixed pane, which is taking up the rest of the space available. So I'll go back to our configuration settings here, and you'll see at the top here we have custom settings selected here. As you may remember from last time, if you have custom settings showing here, it just means you're not using a style currently, which is the case here because we have made just a custom window. So what we're going to do in here is we are going to say a name for the new style. So I'll call it louver on the right. And then I'll hit the Save as Style button. Now I can go back down to glazing panel layout, and let's delete that panel. Oh, perhaps not. Why? Oh. Okay, this is a good learning moment. Because I have saved as a style, I have now locked myself to that style, so I can't make changes here anymore, because of course I can't. If I was listening to what I said myself last week and earlier today, I would know that, but we are locked into louver on the right at the moment, so we can't modify it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that we want to, we don't want to edit louver on the right because we want to make a new style, so I'm going to say go back into custom mode. So we'll keep the settings that I have there, obviously, but it will unlock it now, so I can actually do what I was trying to do. So I'll create a new one here, and we're going to go with something very creative, and we're going to choose louver on the left instead. So we'll go fixed width. We'll say it's 250 wide, and then we'll jump back up to configuration, and we will save this one as louver on the left. Okay, type that in, hit Save as Style, and now we have two available. So if I pop out this here, I've got louver on the left and louver on the right available, and I can just chop and change between those whenever I need to, and you'll see the changes come into effect up here. Now the setout of those is independent of the sizing of the window, as we talked about earlier. So this can be set to any size at all. It will preserve that that fixed width setting that I set here. So we've got the louver panel always being 250 wide, but the other one is set to fit into the available width. So if we go ahead and make this considerably wider, you will see that our louvers are still 250 wide and the rest of it is just taking up the space available. So you don't need to worry about the actual sizing of the window when you're setting up your preset glazing panel setups, because they'll just fill in the spaces available unless you specifically give them a certain value. So that's creating some new styles, and then when you're working with new styles, you'll probably want to also create some snap sizes as well. So we're going to do that too. I'm just going to very quickly pause the stream and check and see if we've got any questions coming through. I'll be back in just a few seconds. All right, looks like we don't have any questions at this stage, so let's keep going ahead with creating some snap sizes. So we've chosen our louver on the left type here, and what we can do now is we can go down to sizes, and we've got custom size available here. You can see there's a bunch of these available because it's just inherited what I was using before. So what we're going to do is over on the sort of bottom right corner here, you'll see there's a couple of these sort of drill down buttons here. We want to go to snap sizes, and we can see how these actually work. So you'll see a sort of a grid, not a grid, what do you call this? A table of the sizes that are set up. And you can see up on the top left at the moment, we're looking at the width values. So each width value has a number for the value that it is. This isn't shown anywhere, it's just that they have an order to them. We've got a code, that's the number that we were seeing in the snap sizing. So this is 2.5. We've got the actual width that is implied by that, so 610 in this case, and the default panel width for that as well, which is 0. 0 just means fill the available space, so it is just doing that. So you can see that this is built up, this list of snaps is built up by just an array of these values. So we've got 2.53, 3.5, 3.54, etc. down here, and they have the matching widths entered for them there. We can come up here and we can click on heights and see the same for that as well. So we've got 6C corresponds to a height of 514, 8C corresponds to a height of 686. We don't have this window placed at the moment, so we can't see what 21 and 27 are, but those would be showing you those values there. So these are just the ones that are in there by default, but we can make our own easily enough as well. So I'll go back to widths because that's the easiest to display. And what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll say, let's create a series that, let's go with the default, that are incremented at 240. There are 2 divisions of them. There's going to be an offset of 10. And the limits, so the bottom limit is 400, top limit is 2400, and I'll just press the generate button. So this will just do the job of creating them for you first. So it will go through and create those for us because we already had some. You can see that it has not actually filled in any blanks. So let's go through and unlock here. We just go through and remove the current ones. Actually, I think they might get overwritten by default anyway, but we'll remove those. We'll hit the generate button and it will go through and do what we asked it to. So it will build up a series of these. So we've got 1 through 10 here, and then 11 through 16 is available here. So you can check that those are doing what you want them to by looking through there. So we've got our width set up. You can do the same with the heights at that point, and then come back in here. And those sizes that we set up will be available. So let's just look at 12. You can see we're starting from 2 and we're going all the way up to 9.5. So those are the widths that we automatically created just now. So we can go through, let's choose 5. Gives us a good size. Because we're working with a custom thing, we don't have anything going on in our format at the moment, but you can create that as well. So we are going to choose louver on the left, 12C5. And if we wanted to, we could come in here and we could say edit and this one, we'll give it a configuration name, so we'll call it My Window Louvers. Oops. Like that. And now we'll get a code that shows that, and we'll say that mirrored looks like that, for instance. Put in a dash there. And now if I save that, that's saved with that style. So we'll see that label when we apply this. So if I hit OK, we'll see that shape gets applied, and you can see the label is showing MWL, which is what I entered just before, My Window Louver, 20C by 7.5, and it's not mirrored, so we're not seeing a mirrored status there. We can resize down, and we'll go to 20C still, because that's the height obviously, but we're going down to 4 at that point. And we can go down to 2.5, and we can stretch all the way out and go up to 11, which shows us what we're looking at there. So we're choosing 20C by 11 at the moment, and if I jump into my snap sizes, we can look that up. So we can see that 11 is 2650, which is what we're seeing on our measurement there, and that the height 20 is 1714, which we are seeing 1714 for our value there. So it's sized it to exactly what we told it to. It would have been embarrassing if it didn't do that, but that's what is going on there. So you can go through and create your table of snap sizes and your set of styles just by going through and using these controls here. You can also, one of the other things you might have noticed is that we have them in folders here. You can do that just by adding colons between what you are saving as well. So you could come in here and say, edit that, My Windows, save that. And now you see we have a folder called My Windows, and we have Louver on the left there. If we come in here and choose Louver on the right, we can shift that into a folder as well just by editing it. Coming in here and saying same again, colon, Louver on the right, save, and now we'll have a folder with both of those windows in it. So you can create a nice setup here, similar to what we have already in there, and just create whatever windows and doors you want in there. You may have favorite manufacturers, you may just have favorite sizes of or styles of windows and doors that you want to create. You can do any of that using this. So that is the styles in windows and doors. I realize I have been rambling a little bit and we're just about out of time, but what I will quickly show you next is the creating a door panel, which I haven't done in a while actually, but let's go ahead and do one of those. So this is for if you want to create a custom door panel. Say there is a door that you want to create and there aren't any panels in the tool already that do what you want. You can make your own. So I'm just going to use the slab tool to do it. I'll create a shape for my door. We'll just go with something very basic so that it doesn't take too long to draw. Let's say we have something like this going on. Select our slab or whatever you make it out of and go to File, Libraries and Objects, Save Selection As, and we are going to save as a door leaf. Let's just call it door leaf 1, that's fine. Confirms that it has been saved. And then we go into our door tool. And under door type, we've got swing. That's fine, and we'll set what the door leaf itself actually is. So as you may know, if you've used this before, we have a whole bunch of these types of leaves available. So if one of these doesn't suit what you want, scroll right down to the bottom and we'll have custom available here, and then you can open out this flyout here, and we've got door leaf 1, which is the one that we just created. Select that, you'll see the horrible door leaf that we just created, and now we can place that into our wall, and it is exactly what you would expect it to be. It is a fairly horrible looking door leaf inside a door, which in our case is exactly what we wanted, but obviously you'll be making something far nicer looking than that, and it will just insert that in there so it can just behave like any other door leaf in the tool. So if you say have a different vision panel layout than what we have available or something like that, this is the way that you can create something like that. All right. Yes, so we have run out of time. I'll just quickly check for questions now, and then we can finish up. Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions this week, so we'll finish up now. Thanks for your time, everyone, and I will see you again same time next week. I haven't figured out what topic I'm going to cover next week, so if you do have any suggestions for what we should look at, please let us know just by logging a support ticket, by emailing nz.support@centralinnovation.com, and just say, hey, for next week's webinar, can you please show me how to, whatever it is you want to do, model a barbecue using slab edges or something. I don't know. Send through any requests like that to there, and I can cover those. Otherwise, I'll just pick something that we either haven't covered for a while or that we've had some recent support queries about. So we will be talking about something next week. I'm just not sure what yet. So tune in then to find out, I guess. But thanks for your time, everyone, and I will catch you next time.